Hello, this is Lady Boulay, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your comments, and thank you for your thumbs up. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. And yes, we are commanded to love one another, whether we want to or not, or whether we agree with each other or not. Now, our journey in America has been interesting, to say the least. Our democracy is a constant work in progress, and we have to stay engaged and involved to make it a perfect union. Now, the Supreme Court has ruled on the Voting Rights Act of all things. They have said, and this is what all of the pundits are saying, that they have gutted the Voting Rights Act. So we have to unpack that in a way that's not frightening and that's not scaring Black people. And we don't want to become Chicken Little screaming, oh, the sky is falling. Oh, the sky is falling. We are adults. We have been here for over 500 years. So we know how to handle situations. So let's unpack this in a sensible way, in a mature way, and in a way that says this too shall pass. But anyway, listen to this.
Is happening again. Whenever Black people make political, social, or economic progress, white people try to stop it. That's what just happened when the Supreme Court, in a 6-3 decision, ruled against a Black congressional district in Louisiana. The NAACP called it a devastating blow, and Supreme Court Justice Elena Kagan warned that our representation is about to sharply decline. How does she know? Because it's happened before. Louisiana's population is 1/3 Black, and Black people hold 2 of the 6 seats in Congress. But today's decision will likely eliminate a Black congressional district and open the floodgates for other former Confederate states to do the same. We've been here before. Historian Carol Anderson calls it white rage. In 1877, there were 8 Black members of Congress. By 1901, there were none. Even in the 1960s, there were no Black members of Congress from the South. When Lyndon Johnson signed the Voting Rights Act in 1965, white Southerners fled the Democratic Party and became Republicans. And since then, no Democratic candidate for president has ever won the white vote. It happened again with Barack Obama. The majority of white voters voted against him both times. 1 year after he was reelected, the Supreme Court gutted the Voting Rights Act. That same day, officials here in Texas announced the nation's strictest voting ID law. And since then, states have passed hundreds of new restrictions. This is the endgame of a 6-decade-long campaign to destroy Black voting power. They don't want us to vote. They don't want us in Congress, and they damn sure don't want another Black president. They fear our vote more than anything else. Now let's give them a reason to.
We have to be careful about propaganda. We just want to look at the facts, and we want to know what can be done to protect our voting rights. Number one, these districts that they're talking about, they really don't want Black representation, but Black representation in many cases has been a disappointment to us. And number two, Black people are complaining about the Congressional Black Caucus, and Black people are complaining that President Obama didn't do anything for Black people. So we make just as much progress without Black representation as we do with Black representation. But some of the Black Congress people are working for the people because Terry Sewell from Alabama really works for the people of her district. So let's talk about the Voting Rights Act and what really happened. The short answer is the Supreme Court gutted the Voting Rights Act by weakening Section 2, the core provision that protected minority voters from racial discrimination in redistricting. By weakening Section 2 of the Voting Rights Bill, the Supreme Court struck down majority Black districts by claiming they relied too heavily on race, even when race was used to remedy discrimination. Now, it's okay to have majority white districts, but they don't want to have majority Black districts because they know that's going to dilute their white voting Republican power. So this was a racist move. There's no doubt about it. It was a racist move. By weakening Section B of the Voting Rights Bill, it also raised new, often insurmountable hurdles for approving racial gerrymandering, effectively undoing decades of precedent. Now, the way gerrymandering works is that you have a part of a town that's majority black, then you take part of those black people and put them in a majority white district. And then you take another part of that black area and put them in another majority white district. And then you take another part of that black district or that black neighborhood and put those people in still another majority white district. By doing that, you don't have anybody representing the black people, but you have the black people in the majority white districts where that particular congressman or congresswoman is looking out for the white people, and the black people are left without any representation. That's what gerrymandering is. By weakening Section B of the Voting Rights Act, it allowed states to use partisan gerrymandering as a legal defense against claims of racial discrimination, something never permitted before. It also declared maps unconstitutional even when lower courts found discrimination, reversing rulings that protected minority voting power. And lastly, by weakening Section 2, it left Section 2 technically on the books but functionally powerless, prompting Justin Kagan to say the court had rendered it a dead letter. So that's what the Supreme Court did. The Supreme Court did everything it could to limit the voting power of black voters because all these other people think they're white. So they're voting with the white people anyway. But it limited black voting power. It was a racist move, and we've seen it before. So this is not the first time the courts had done that. But what can be done? That's what we're concerned about. Congress has full constitutional authority under the 14th and 15th Amendments to restore and strengthen the Voting Rights Act. There are several measures that Congress can do to offset whatever the Supreme Court did that undermined our voting power. So it takes time. We've seen it before. The United States government is a brilliant institution because it has a three-branch component. The judicial branch, which is the Supreme Court, the executive branch, which is the president, and then the congressional branch, which is the Congress. Each one of those is called a checks and balance system. So when one of those institutions gets out of balance, the other two has the right to check it. That's why Donald Trump cannot do anything that he wants to do because another branch of government can check him. So when the Supreme Court makes a decision that doesn't seem right for the American people, the Congress or the executive branch can check it. So the Congress, in this case, has the right to restore anything that the Supreme Court has taken from us. That is why it is important to vote. But I'm just saying, you vote for who you want to, but this is what the Supreme Court has done, and this is what the Congress can do to rectify the situation. Okay? And I'm going to end the video by saying, white Americans have had a 400-year head start on black Americans, and they are still trying to maneuver a way of trying to outdo black people. They ought to have enough of that by now. If they haven't gotten what they wanted out of this system by now, they're not going to get it. They have a high poverty rate. They now have a high opioid drug use rate. A lot of them don't have decent health care. They're relying on the Affordable Care Act, not even knowing that it's Obamacare. So for all of this white supremacy, a lot of them are not doing well. So they need to learn how to live fairly with other people. including Black people. We have never tried to hurt them. We have never tried to hurt them. And why they want to take and take and take from us does not make sense to me. But anyway, y'all, let me know what you think about the video and have a good day.